goal to kick off your Friday afternoon, and as they say in the movies, it's draft day. I'm surprised you didn't go with the draft day theme there, Boy Green. It's the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital, and we are live from Smokey Bones, Route 31 in Liverpool, where tonight we will draft for the Champs League of our fantasy draft. And one guy traveled from halfway across the world, I think. Was it Asia? Was it Australia? No,
Africa, perhaps.
It was Madison, Wisconsin, but still pretty far away, you might say. And that's our fantasy insider from RotoWire.com. Let's welcome him in. Give him a loud round of applause, even though we can't hear you. It is the one, the only Joseph Bartel. Hello, Joe.
Hello. How's it going? This is great to be in person with everyone here.
This, man, on location draft, just a couple of hours away. We're here doing setup. By the way, if anyone wants to come by, you can. And today's broadcast brought to you by Smokey Bones, where we are hosting our draft here for the year 2025. You can see, fellas, I am wearing my official draft shirt, although I will, as the bet requires, slip on a little Cowboys gear later on. I have a very special jersey, however, that I'll be wearing as my Cowboys punishment, and I'm not sure that some of these Cowboy fans in our league are going to like it all that much.
Well, Boy Green's wearing the shirt of a loser, right?
You want to know what's fitting, though, is that Lerch has stairways to Evans because he's going to be stepping out of the Champs League for the very first time.
Never.
So that is going to be refreshing.
Stairway to the top. Stairways go.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well,
my stairway goes in an upward direction.
Oh, that's
Did you not see my short the other day, Boy Green, that I dropped on our YouTube channel, displaying all the lackluster names in this league, and including the best name, of course, which is this one right here.
Yeah, well, I guess that's sort of up for debate, but obviously we're going to be talking a lot of fantasy, boys. We've got Manchild here, Joe Bartel of RotoWire.com, myself here, live from Smokey Bones. But, Joe, as the wrestling Green Bay Packers guy, some fantasy news for all the IDP people in our audience,
What
I guess,
bleep
just happened. So you're the Packers fan here. Let's get it. It's such a pressing NFL story that I feel like we're compelled to talk about it here, even on a fantasy draft day. Micah Parsons, that's very un-Packers-like to be giving up multiple first-round picks, and Kenny Clark, who's one of the top leaders, of course, on the team. You could speak more to that.
Yeah, it was a massive deal, one that's been rumored out for the past week or so. The Packers were going to be able to make a trade for a pass rusher. There have been rumors about Trey Hendrickson earlier in the offseason. There have been rumors about Myles Garrett, and all that gets squashed for the youngest pass rusher of that group, Micah Parsons, who's 26 years old. The idea that my generation has never seen an elite pass rusher to this level, because we had Clay Matthews as our guy, which is awesome. I'm a huge Clay Matthews fan, but to the degree of Reggie White, that we get a Reggie White for my generation is a really cool thing. For 2 first-round picks and a guy in Kenny Clark, who the team was probably cutting due to salary circumstances next offseason anyway, that's a windfall in itself. This is a tortured sports fan of Wisconsin. I've watched my Badgers lose in the national championship for basketball. I've watched the football team fall apart. I've seen Damian Lillard massive trades do absolutely nothing and get clowned on. I've watched Aaron Rodgers time and time again not get back to the Super Bowl. So part of me was just a little bit jaded and a little bit concerned and trying to protect myself that maybe this isn't the windfall that all of the NFL seems to think. But I'm going to be happy and positive, unlike what I normally do, for at least another hour, 2 hours or so, while I'm here with all of you guys at Smokey's Bonehouse here, celebrating and everyone gleefully in the Cowboys' faces at least, because we got one of the best pass rushers for 2 first-round picks and a guy we were going to cut next year anyway. That's a win no matter how you slice it.
Well, that's good to hear because, like, for instance, your Kenny Clark cap situation knowledge about he might just get cut next year. That's news to, I think, a lot of NFL fans who, again, Micah Parsons obviously is a better player because picks got attached with Clark to make up the difference here for that trade. But, oh, my goodness, does this make your Green Bay Packers, who you're being as tepid as possible here, does that make them Super Bowl instant contenders?
I think it puts them at the table. That's the way I phrased it on SiriusXM last night when I was talking with one of the co-hosts about it. I don't think they're better than the Eagles. I don't know if they're better than the Lions in their own division. I don't know if they're better than the Chiefs or Bills or Ravens in the AFC. And I think the Niners have a cupcake schedule. They're going to be really good too. What it does is say you are in that same breath. They had made it to the playoffs the past 3 years now, hadn't actually won a playoff game, got close against the Niners at that point. They beat the Cowboys. That was the last time I actually won a playoff game. So it gets them close to that point. I'm not ready to say that yet. You might. If your Jets team had done something like this monumental move that's earth-shaking that the whole NFL talks about, you would be touting it to high heaven. I have to protect myself.
Sure.
I can't have another scenario where this falls flat in my face. So it puts them at the table to be a Super Bowl contender.
I think that's fair. Hey, Boy Green, since it is, dare I say, a little bit of a, karma here before the draft. We're getting ready.
Sure.
You have the number one overall pick. I mean, what's the big mystery?
Micah Parsons.
Let's just call it out
Micah
right
Parsons.
now and get it over with, for crying out loud. I mean,
Micah.
Bartel and I were talking on the way over, and I was telling him what my strategy is at 3 because I have no fear of Joe.
Okay.
He's sitting at 4, and I know he can keep a secret. But heck,
Okay.
you don't have to keep a secret,
Well,
my
how about
friend.
this?
No one can draft in front of you.
I can get
so
the
just
sticker.
tell us
I can get the
now,
sticker for you
and
right
let's
now.
get it over with.
Okay, so why don't you? I want a prediction from each of you. I have the number one overall pick. Again, this is a 12-team league, 4-point PPR. For those who are just joining us in the comment section, great to see you guys. Thank you, Dark Soldier, Jamie O'Hara, DLDX out there in the universe.
How many of you want him to reveal his pick so that your life is a little easier tonight and that you feel like you got a nugget, a kind of some special thing from us today?
Yeah.
I mean, the views, Boy Green. Think of the views.
Oh, wow.
If we could put on our little graphic,
sure.
Boy Green
Yeah,
reveals overall number one pick.
That'd be a great thumbnail. Well, let me ask you this. So I'll give you guys each a prediction. Who do you think I'm taking with the number one overall pick? And again, for our fans,
Joe.
it's a 12-team league, 4-point PPR. We'll start off with Joe Bartel,
Joe,
our
you're the
RotoWire
visitor.
fantasy
Who do you
football
think?
expert.
Who do you think
I
Boy
think
Green
the
is taking?
conventional answer is Jamar Chase,
Okay.
top receiver out there in fantasy right now. Bengals offense being what it is, but more importantly, the defense not being what we anticipate. I think you'd be crazy to select anyone else but Jamar Chase.
Okay.
So part of me thinks he will do something different.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just assuming too much out of you.
Yeah, that's a lot of assuming. You know what they say about
You know what
assuming.
they say.
Yeah,
Boy Green
Jamar Chase, Bengals.
wearing the jersey of a running quarterback that says running back RB. I know our league forever has been running back centric. Boy Green fears, and he has great fear in this, Joe. He has great fear, but by the time he gets to 24, he doesn't have any running back that he really loves.
I've admitted that.
I don't think he's going to let a running back go past number one. My prediction, although I'm a little waffly now with some recent developments, I still think he's going to go with Bijan Robinson. I think he's the pick. I think Boy Green takes Bijan.
The recent developments is that he changed his name. That would throw you off. It's Bijan Robinson.
I see.
And that's,
Yeah,
that's what,
that would throw me off too.
Right, that's exactly.
Recently, he went to France, and now he's Bijan.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
So, Lerch, what are these recent developments? Fill me in. What does that mean? You said recent developments have had you thinking twice about that prediction.
Well, one of the things that happened over the course of the last few days is the Atlanta Falcons had an injury on their offensive line. So, the fact that, hey, somebody up front is not going to be there the whole season, does that concern somebody who maybe is going to make a Bijan Robinson pick early in this draft? So that would be the concern, is if you say, oh, man, missing a lineman there. It's his right tackle, I believe, that's going to be out for the season. Now, I'm not.
Philosophy has helped them win multiple different championships that are beautifully set behind us here, but it doesn't mean it'll always do it when you have smarter people in the league.
Sort of on and off for some
we were
people.
Blinking. We were phasing in and out.
And,
what happens with the moon.
But any technical difficulties, we appreciate, folks. By the way, another choice, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, if you if you can essentially shift your gears here and say, all right, I'm going to on the board.
Yeah.
We'll just get it over. People
Let
will
everyone-
walk in and go, wow,
The
did
draft's
he
already
already
started.
select?
Yeah. Pressure
Coming
can
in
work on
here.
this.
That
right?
would be really
Wow.
interesting.
That's
But
kinda cool.
no, I'm sorry. I can't be influenced by you guys. I have to. New information could come over the next couple hours. What if my pick gets hit by a bus? Then, well, guess I can't pick this guy. Which, by the way,
Well,
I've
you
had
could be like that guy who put the B. Robinson Jr.
Right, I was gonna
up
say,
on the
yeah,
board.
the-
Whoops, and then you try to pull the
Maybe
sticker
less
back
violent
off, you know?
version of that. Sure, yeah.
So yeah, but this is a crazy story. I've had the great pleasure of talking to a lot of general managers that have either been current general managers or general managers in the past. And I told them one time when we go around the draft, I'm like, "Can you tell me a good draft day story?" It's like, you know, the whole phone call thing. And I'm like, yeah. What's that all
Yeah.
about? Well, he's like, here's the thing. He's like, do you know why we call? I'm like, oh, for the cool moment. You tell the kids all day. He's like, absolutely not. He's like, it's to make sure they're not dead. And I'm like, what? He's like, no, I'm serious. Before we pick, we're going to submit the pick. It is just in case that something tragic and terrible happened that they may not be available. And if you draft someone who's dead, well, you just draft a dead body that you don't get the player. So that's why they do that check. So you have multiple NFL general managers tell me this. So it's a real thing of making sure that the last second horrific situation did not happen, like getting hit by a bus.
Perhaps it could be something less than death, maybe.
Well, I mean, I guess in the hospital or something. I don't know. But yeah, all of that
I
is
think in that
possible.
sequence, if that happened, we would allow you to redo your pick. Like if somebody died that
You
picked
would be?
early. Yeah.
Oh, if I was the commish, which I guess what I am, I would absolutely not allow you to do that difference. Which, by the way, Lerch, why don't you show this off? Is that some new
Yeah,
logo
check it out, baby. Yeah.
happening here?
Ooh.
There you go.
New Manchild with Boy Green digital,
Nice.
Manchild Joe Boy Green digital logo on
Very
there.
nice.
So
Yeah.
I know
New
we're getting a
era.
little flared out by all the lighting
Yeah,
coming in
quite.
from behind
Yes,
us. It's
yeah.
a very sunny day here in central New York. So we're trying to work with you on that. There's no way
Yeah.
to turn because there's windows everywhere here at Smokey Bones. So
So apologies
we're kind
for
of
any of
stuck.
that.
So
Yeah.
sorry, but I'm usually pretty white anyway. So now I'm just a little whiter than I normally am.
yeah.
I kind of feel like I just blend.
To be honest, it sort of blends your whiteness out with both of me and Joe here. It's making us all sort of equal. So
Wait,
we're all
if he's
blending
white, then
together.
what are we?
Yeah. Well, we're getting the Casper white reflection
there you
off of
go.
it. So now, look, I've got beautiful Puerto Rican skin that is not showing up quite well on this good side of the camera. But, we do what we can do. Yeah.
All right, let's talk some fantasy football outside of our draft because this is a weekend, Joe, where a lot of people are going to be making their fantasy draft. So, again, let's do the update thing. Boy Green was just talking about he doesn't want to make his pick until the last second because something could change. Micah Parsons just got traded last night. None of us believed that was going to be true. The battle of egos obviously cracked this thing in half, and now the guy's playing for your Green Bay Packers. So, has anything happened since the last time we talked to you just a week ago in terms of maybe it's changed something at the top of the draft for you, or there's a player that's popping a little bit more than they were a week ago. Let's start there.
Yeah, the Bijan Robinson part of things, the Falcons losing the right tackle, makes you at least question what running back should go first overall. I have not been wanting to take Saquon Barkley at 482 with the touches that he had last year. That still scares me. The Madden curse slightly scares me a little bit. Christian McCaffrey, I don't want to deal anything with a top overall selection, even though I understand the premise. So Bijan Robinson was by default the guy that I'm just going to walk into that. And now with that right tackle off for the year for the Falcons, they got their replacement just a week ago. It just a little bit of the bad vibes. And I wonder if it is Jahmyr Gibbs, who obviously was actually the fantasy running back leader last year. That makes more sense. It was more in the fringes, though. We think about the Adam Thielen trade. I think that opens up both Adam Thielen and Jalen Coker to be drafted tonight, not just waiver wire pickups, but should be drafted by people. Adam Thielen was already quietly, I think, one of the best slot receivers in the NFL the past couple of seasons. I think he made Bryce Young what he was last year and has built him up to be where the people are liking the Panthers this season. So I think Adam Thielen, especially with Jordan Addison spent the first 3 weeks of the season, fits in enough with that Kevin O'Connell offense, should help JJ McCarthy make him like let's just say a 10-point PPR guy. And then reverse, Jalen Coker, weeks 4 through 10 when Thielen was out with that hamstring injury, was also a wide receiver 3 for a lot of people leagues, like in 12-team leagues or whatever else. So I think Jalen Coker is one of those that I will definitely have as one of my last selections on the board, and that kind of emerged over the trade this past week.
All right, Joe, because nothing revs my engine like Carolina Panthers fantasy football talk. So let me ask you this in a follow-up, right? You were talking about the pieces outside of it. What about T-Mac? What about Tedero McMillan? Now, is there just a certain point where some of these receivers just are where they are and they're sort of unaffected by an Adam Thielen? Is that sort of what's at play here? Or could his ceiling be even higher now that a Thielen isn't part of that offense?
Yeah, it's a great question. Of the rookie receivers, Ted McMillan is going first among that group. Typically, then it's going to be Emeka Buka now over the past 2 weeks with the Chris Godwin news and Jalen McMillan on injured reserve. And then it's Travis Hunter or Matthew Golden, somewhere in that range. But Ted McMillan is probably going to be a 4th or 5th round selection, depending on what your cheat sheets end up showing us to give out
I guess
this
we'll
year.
see in a couple hours.
I have held reservations about Ted McMillan as a prospect, almost entirely because of, I don't know, our guy, Todd McShay, who does the Ringer and does a really good job of the draft prospect stuff. He had Ted McMillan ranked like 47 among all prospects this year. And when a guy like Todd McShay makes that assessment, it isn't just to get clicks on his podcast. I think it's because he knows something.
The Todd McShay podcast, by the way.
Which is very good on the Ringer. I definitely go ahead and subscribe to that and your guys' stuff as well, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the Ted McMillan concerns were all due to, it felt like work ethic, personality things, trying to improve your game. Like he wasn't that dog mentality you have from like Neighbors, or I think Garrett Wilson's actually a really good example of that too, just to stick in house. When that happens and you're a rookie receiver and an offense I don't have a lot of faith in, I don't want to draft Ted McMillan when I'm hearing that sort of stuff. So while there might be presumed volume, we don't know the personality or player. And I think that often gets misconstrued when it comes to fantasy. That's just all numbers. Here, we're going to project this. I don't know if the player fits in right away, or at least makes good on a 4th or 5th round ADP.
Well, Joe, just because we were talking about rookie receivers, I know that Lerch picked you up from the airport. Yeah, nice guy.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Okay. And, we've had a couple of other drafts before this Champs League. Some of these other leagues, and your old friend Lurchmeister, despite what you said on our show, drafted Travis Hunter. You warned him not to, and he did anyway. Lurch, defend yourself.
Value. He was a value pick for me. Round, Joe. I forget what round I picked him in, but he was sitting out there, and I was like, I don't know if we'll see a repeat of that.
We could take it a corner.
Could go that way too, right?
I didn't know corners are valuable.
Listen, that will be how much is he going to play the corner position, which seems like more of a position of need for that particular team. Season, it seemed like they were dancing a little more around the receiver thing. So is that to get him more familiar with the
question? I think, unfortunately, for fantasy managers, it will be one that we probably don't have solved or answered, or will happen until maybe October,
right?
Maybe even November.
I was going to say week 5, week
right?
6.
It's just that's going to be first round pick when you were a top 10 team in the draft this year, unless it was for a receiver,
right?
For a cornerback. Conventionally, we have not seen that in the NFL. Okay, so is the draft capital given up away for receiver? Maybe. Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy last year, not just because he was a really good as well. I have a real issue with the idea that Travis Hunter is this can't-miss receiver prospect. If he is, or even a wide receiver 3 on a team and helps them win football games, that is worth year. You've made your first runner better. Like, it won't be as high up there, but he's also making your football team better as well. Corner in that answer, and everyone's just assuming, well, he's going to be a really good corner and Calvin Johnson. That's a circumstance that makes sense. So there might not be a scenario where I would ever consider drafting Travis. This is a value pick in my mind.
So let's. I have it right here.
Valueless.
Hey, the first, Joe. Okay. The alert said, I don't remember where I picked it, but it was a good value. Okay. So I ask you, based on what you just said.
I guess he looked it up, folks.
Yeah, I did. Facts and things.
My guess is going to be I picked him in the 6th round, but I'm not sure.
Okay. He picked him in the 5th round.
5th.
That would not be good value.
And he went 57th overall.
Not be good value.
Well, sorry, Lerch. Terrible value. Next try, pal.
Please do that again tonight.
Oh, listen,
okay.
Please do that again
I may chump in the Chumps League, but I will be a champ in the Champs League.
By the way,
that's all that matters.
That was actually the Triple C League.
That was the Triple 3. That's right. That's why, because I was playing. I like to play with those guys down there. Because there's some sucker out there that's going to trade me for Travis Hunter, and I'm going to get back a windfall. That's why I did that.
Not if they're watching the show.
Now it's all coming back to me why I picked him in the 5th round, just to basically, throw some shade at other people in the league.
Sure. Well, obviously,
teach him who's boss.
Well, you keep doing it that way. You're doing it again. We got the Manchild. We got Boy Green. We got Joe Bartel, RotoWire.com, live from Smokey Bones here in Liverpool and Lerch. A very important question from Bubba Badshot here. What are you guys going to be ordering tonight? We've got a wonderful menu here at Smokey Bones. So, Lerch, you're sort of a veteran of Smokey Bones. I hear that you come here a lot.
I do.
I've heard perhaps too much, but that's for others to decide, not me. What are you going to be ordering tonight? What's on the menu? Or is it? Are you picking between a couple of things? You have the #1 overall pick in your Smokey Bones Liverpool food draft here. Are you just going to reveal what you're going to order right now?
Listen, they have great beef. They have great chicken. They have great ribs. there is really a lot that you get the nachos. You can get a gigantic plate of nachos. You can put some meat on it. They call it the mag nachos. And then they put pulled chicken and pulled pork on top of all the things that you get in your normal nachos. But I think for me tonight, and it gets a little sloppy, so we're going to need a little bit of time in the middle of that draft, Boy Green, for me to actually consume and eat this and then wipe myself off. But I'm going to go for the rack of ribs tonight. I'm going rack of ribs, baby back with the original sauce. It's very sweet. It's very good. A couple of sides. I'll probably go mashed potatoes with gravy. And, for the healthy part of it, since I'm throwing down ribs, why not some broccoli? That's what I think.
Well, Lerch, see, here it is. This is, my role as being the commish. What a thankless job it is. But I've been receiving texts around today's show about all kinds of things, A to Z. One of them saying, hey, is there going to be an intermission in the middle of this thing? I'm thinking about my dinner plans tonight. I just received that text from someone in the league out there. It's like, hey, man, I just want to make sure. Should I look at this draft prep, but food prep? Should I be eating right now? Should I be getting ready for the draft? Is there going to be food opportunities during it, Lerch? Sounds like there's going to be food opportunities during this draft.
Yeah, there'll be food opportunities during the draft, and we'll work out all the parameters of who we're going to go to get our food and our drinks. But I'll work that out before everybody gets here tonight. But definitely, we will have a break somewhere. We usually take a break somewhere in the draft anyway. And that'll give people a little bit of a chance to chow down a little bit, to kind of reevaluate their list and how bad their draft is going after I steal all their people. I'm in perfect position tonight to snipe Joe Bartel. It does feel.
Are you talking about the food or the fantasy?
No, I'm talking about the fantasy draft. Back on that now. It was interesting. Bartel and I were talking a little bit in the car ride over here about the shape of this draft and where everybody ended up landing in our draft order review. Now, this may be true. It may not be true, but it is our humble opinions. I think Joe's in agreement on this, that the top of the draft is a little tricky, that we got some power players up there. Boy Green is up there.
Yeah, I'd consider myself a power
Joe
player.
Bartel is up there in number 4. So, we got the power players here.
Obviously here.
Right? And at the bottom of the draft is a little bit more eclectic, other than Brian Drake, Mr.
Ringer
Mr.
fantasy
guy.
Yeah, another ringer.
He's playing among the minions. I feel like a little bit down there. Not that those people aren't capable,
of course,
but
nothing wrong.
We also have the defending champion picking number 2. So
what's this team name again?
1, 2, 3, or 4. We have 3 of the top 4 here, and the guy who is the number 2 pick, who would fit in with us if he were joining us, see if we could get him on screen, is Jabber.
What's his team name again? Because I heard that you ignored that the last time during that YouTube short. What the reigning champ? What's his name again?
Jabber's Wing Sauce.
That's it. Okay, because I didn't remember because I didn't see it in the video. But anywho, go ahead.
I was going to give him his own special video. I just ran out of time.
Oh, you didn't even make the video?
No, I didn't. Well, there's still time. I have the placard right here. We'll just do it right here at Smokey Bones and get this thing over with. All right. He'll get his own video if he really has to have it.
Beautiful.
But Jabber will be in the 2-hole tonight, and he's the defending champion. So it does kind of feel like we got power players up here. You've won the league twice. I've won the league twice. Jabber won the league last year. So we got some titles there. I say some rings at the top of this draft. I think everybody is very capable in this draft, but I do think that we might be sniping each other a little bit. I think there may be some like minds here, some people who have a little bit more experience drafting that might cause some trouble for us drafting at the top. So, frankly, I wish I was down there with Drake.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the important thing, food. Okay, let's get on this fantasy football talk. What are you talking about here? So, Joe, you're an outsider. Okay, you're coming in, you're flying in. Are you going to rely on a man-child suggestion potentially for food here? Are you just going to go wow west out there and try to pick something off the hoot and haul? What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, last time I came here for the draft last year, we actually did end up eating here. So I'm not a newcomer.
I didn't even know that.
I did not either.
Yes, I walked in.
See, I brought him here in one of my regular spots.
There you go.
So here's the thing: is a guy from Wisconsin. I think the answer more crucially is how much and what am I going to be drinking? It isn't really so much about the eating thing. I mean, that'll be an important part of it. I've been eyeing some things up. I think that the shelf looks pretty good.
Sure.
I'm impressed as a guy that knows his bars very successfully and well. I think that's it'll be a good time tonight. We'll put it that way. It's a good time tonight.
Do you drink an old fashioned, Joe? Are you an old fashioned?
Lerch is going to do this whole thing.
They have the smoke. They have the smoked old fashioned here. They literally that smoky, and they smoke the ice too. So might be one to think about tonight.
Okay, which I hear. I don't know how much.
No, also saying after 3 or 4 rounds, when I've stolen half his guys, maybe he wants to have a drink.
But here's the problem:
one of those smoked old fashions. It'll probably
be Wisconsin blood running through his veins. I'm not sure if the normal alcohol that affects someone here in New York.
We shouldn't be trying that.
Fair enough.
For everyone's safety, it's probably best that we.
And Boy Green, what are you eating?
Well, I hear Badshaw
Mr.
giving a
Plain
prediction.
Doesn't eat anything other than like 5 things.
So French fries. So Badshaw in our audience says, Paul, you're going to have a Mountain Dew on draft to go with your plain hamburger.
There you go. Badshaw, you know him.
I won't roll it out. It's possible. I'm gonna have to look at the menu. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Come on, how about I get you the breakfast burger? That's got
I love
you got the
breakfast
burger,
burger.
but then you get bacon. You like bacon?
I
Don't you?
do. I'm
Right?
a bacon.
You get the
I'm
egg, and
American.
you want it runny. They puncture it. Then
That's what I
the
get
yolk
every
jumps-
Sunday at my
So
local
there you
diner.
go. All right,
Breakfast
that's one.
burger it is.
They've got the breakfast
Boom.
burger, man.
Okay, might be a
Get
little
that with
messy.
some
to
fries.
protect
It
the
is
Justin Fields jersey.
Well,
Could be
again,
good.
It's okay if it gets.
No. This jersey is going to be as clean as it is tonight, as
Yeah.
it is for Justin Fields throughout the season, with that solid offensive line he has clearly for the New York Jets. Yeah. So I appreciate it. And another suggestion, your prediction comment, Badshaw, Saquon Barkley, number one.
He says Saquon.
You heard it from, and this is interesting, right? We have two fantasy draft experts in the league, Joe Bartel right here, RotoWire.com, and of course we have Brian Drake. And you guys have absolutely opposite opinions on Saquon Barkley, but it doesn't mean right or
Drake,
wrong.
the Eagles.
Yes,
fan.
Well,
I
I
think
guess
that's an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I
right?
guess that's true. I do have
Yeah.
to factor that in. He's an Eagles fan. But Joe talks about the touches, and it's true. A lot of touches last year, come off a great year. And how can you, and here's the other thing with what Joe just said, how do you top last year? Inevitably, it has to be a downfall. And plus, you're drafting them a lot higher than you did last year. So when you're talking about investment, what you're getting, but Drake just said that like Saquon's really good. The Eagles' offensive line is really good.
Good.
They got this roster that's awesome. So he's
Not
going to
really
have great opportunities. And
Yeah.
when I read that tweet, it's like, that's a pretty good case, pretty good pitch.
No, I completely understand that. And this is more from a pessimism side. Like I want my first round selection to have as little concerns as possible.
Sure.
If we think everyone in the first round is more or less smoothed out,
Mhm.
that maybe there's a few that are upper echelon, but hey, this guy is going to be one of the league leaders of the position. Okay, then what are the question marks that come with that? 482 touches, including the Super Bowl last year. We have not seen that happen, I think in like the past 15 years, something to that effect. Saquon Barkley, as you know, is injury prone. I understand that he hasn't been the last 2
Oh,
years.
yeah, Lerch definitely knows that.
He is an injury prone player, and that's because he's a freak athlete. And the Eagles' schedule is significantly harder as well, too. And maybe that means they have to pass more. Maybe that means they just don't score as much. Maybe that means Saquon Barkley can't go as crazy from a production standpoint. There's just enough things in my mind that if all things are equal to Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, I would rather have those two over Saquon Barkley.
All right. Pop up Don's comment there for a second, Boy Green. You see Don Her there right in the comments. Let's pop that up there.
Yes.
He says he drafted a few days ago. This is Don the jeweler, if you
Okay.
remember.
Yes,
Joined
of
our
course,
crowd. Don,
Don.
great to be with him. Great that you're with us, buddy, and we're glad you're here with us on the internet. And,
Thanks for that ring for my fiance, by the way.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
still engaged. I'm trying to break a record.
he didn't even remember you last time, Don. You know,
Well,
at least,
wait, no,
at least-
wait,
at least he's on it now. At least he's on it now.
I'm better.
Okay. Anyway, what I was going to say, okay, so he says I had, in my draft, I picked Gibbs 4.
Yeah, Don, yes.
So, Don, I'll tell you this.
4th overall. Yep.
Gibbs is not going to make it to 4 in this draft.
Mm.
That's my prediction. We'll see if that's
Oh.
true.
Mm.
Gibbs won't make it to 4 in this draft.
Did Lerch just say what I think he said?
I think he said you're going to take him number 1 overall.
I think that's what he said. Yeah.
I think maybe.
No, you're going to take
I
him.
think that's
He's got
possible.
3.
Yeah, somebody's going to take
Maybe
him.
I'm going to take him. Maybe Jabber's going to take him. There's 3 picks before we get to number 4. I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
All right. I'll make a promise.
Okay.
Jamar Chase will not make it to Joe Bartel at number 4. Okay. So if you guys are
Okay.
Mr. Running
real
Back
bold.
up there, I'll just be Mr. Receiver and stop
Yeah.
that from happening.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service to the league. I will not
You got
let Jamar Chase
Okay.
fall through him at
I'm
4.
just saying.
That's good to know. Although it's important to know because Bijan, that's French Lerch, he fell all the way to the end of the first round last year. So
I know.
that's the cool
Crazy
thing
things
about the
happen.
whole league.
Not all the way to the end of the first round, because that would have been my
Oh,
pick.
11.
Yeah,
That's a good
11.
point.
He
Yes.
fell 1 pick before mine.
To the reigning champ,
Yeah.
Capper.
Mhm.
Coincidence? I think not.
So is that a clue, Boy Green, that you're taking Jamar Chase? I mean, you seem so emphatically to say, "Oh, wow, that's nothing."
maybe
Well,
that
how
is?
do you know what's in Jabber's mind? I just said I'm not letting the guy get past 3.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. It just sounded like, we go through the fantasy draft
Mhm.
where you're like, yeah, all right, I guarantee Bijan Robinson won't be there at 12. Okay. That's
Okay.
what we all sort of
So you
assume.
say it's I'm stating the obvious.
I do believe you're
You
stating
think
up.
definitively someone in the top 3 would take Jamar Chase?
I have a pretty good feeling. So we'll see what happens there. If you want to,
news? Is it?
did I just play it? Am I telling the truth? Who knows? And Jamie's been saying this for a while, so I don't know if you're going to let him get in your head
No, he's right.
virtually that you're taking CD
He's
Lamb,
100%
Dallas
right.
Cowboys wide receiver. Oh,
Absolutely.
you're just putting
If this is how we're all going to do it, we can do the subterfuge and whatever else. But if you're going to go Jamar Chase,
Yeah.
and there's Jahmyr Gibbs, and there's going to be, I don't know,
Or Saquon?
yeah,
or
two,
Bijan.
right, who's 2
right,
for
right. Like I mean,
Jabber,
I will comfortably. I think it's the end of the tier. I mean, like Jamie can feel like all prophetic, whatever. But of the first 4, I mean, that makes sense to me. It's Jamar Chase, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, it's Bijan Robinson, and CeeDee Lamb. And afterwards, whether it's Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, you can have your favorites, but I think it really is set in stone. Here's 1 through 4. So in that regard, I'm very happy that I get to have that. So I get the one that falls to me.
That's surprising to me that you
Yeah.
would not. I mean, I understand you got to name a 4, you get 4, but Saquon Barkley you definitely seem down on him. I mean, based on his production last year, based on what that team brings back, why? I mean, he certainly, to me, has to get strong consideration to be a top 3.
The touches, just what Joe just said.
The 482 from dating back to the Super Bowl, that I think the Eagles' schedule will be more difficult this year, and maybe that Saquon either doesn't get involved in much of that, so they pass more, or he just doesn't do as well. And again, Giants, injury stuff, right? I mean, that has to be still relevant for Saquon Barkley in this fantasy count.
So it's carries and it's injuries.
All right. Well, but let's let's lay all our cards on the table. You talk about some of the power players right here. Let's just say I take Jamar Chase potentially, if somehow that happened. But we have Jabber at number 2. I'm curious, right? So Jabber got the steal of steals. We all agree last year when Bijan Robinson just fell into his arms.
Dropped to number 11.
Right, number 11. Should he feel any type of way if this year it cost him 2, as opposed to 11? You know what I'm saying? Like, from a mental standpoint, he got him for 11. It's a great steal. Now he's at 2, and he's like, man, now I have to expend the 2nd overall pick to get the same guy got 11, or should that not factor in at all?
No, I don't think. I think they're because he has a team typically. 2 people are normally drafting. They did a really good job drafting last year. I think that was one of those that I came away,
his manager. He had extra
I came away thinking, okay, that's a good team. I mean, I just think that's so. We talk about power players in the top 4 or 5. I think that truthfully, there's just a really good drafted team. So you can like Brian Drake will be a perfect example. Back into the first round, you can benefit on the mistakes of others that Jamie will probably make. But what ended up happening is that the 4 of us in the beginning of the first round will just kind of like be in a draft in itself. We're going to be just drafting against each other because whatever happens in the back end of the first round, it doesn't matter. We can't really capitalize. It's going to be Drake that cleans up all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to compete against one another.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, let's get a couple more questions in, and then we'll sign off and get ready for this friggin' fantasy draft, for Pete's sake. I see this one, and this is a curious one here from Rick a Star. Rick is a star. Thoughts on drafting a Devon Achane? Yeah, thank you. The Miami Dolphins.
Well, I was wrong in this last year because I was fading. I was fading Achane all the way. Couldn't have been more wrong about this. And I'll do it again. You know what? I'm comfortable.
Double down.
I'm going to absolutely double down. I think Mike McDaniel is a good offensive coach. I don't know about a head coach, but I think he's a good offensive coach. The Dolphins, and you are aware of this as an AFC East division rival, cannot win a single game against anyone competent since Mike McDaniel's been the head coach. You could be 10-6, whatever it is, but you lose all 6 games against teams above 500. It's been that way consistently. So either Mike McDaniel does the same old every single time, and then he gets fired again because they're going to be 8-9 or 7-10, or whatever it is, or he tries to change something in the offense. It's not changing things to make Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle even more explosive. That has been solved by the NFL. Adding a power element to that backfield, which Devon Achane at sub 200 pounds cannot do, means that Devon Achane comes off the field for a guy like Ollie Gordon. And then there's already hamstring soft tissue issues for Devon Achane. He should be good for week 1. I will not draft Devon Achane over Josh Jacobs, over Bucky Irving, over Jonathan Taylor, over Derrick Henry. And more often than not, you're going to see all one of those guys go behind Devon Achane, or at least a few of them. So I'm fading Devon Achane at the current price that he's at.
Fair enough. And again, more food texts are coming in from our league. And so I'm very fired up.
Wants to know what we're
Smokey
eating, huh? So much for the picks.
Well, yeah, because it's about like, oh boy, I wanted ribs, but it's a little messy in the middle of a fantasy draft. And I'm like, hey man, just get whatever you want.
Listen, they'll give you those wipey cloths. You everything. Nice. I mean, you don't have to go to the bathroom to get completely cleaned up. Okay,
you could still do that too, though. Like it's no one's stopping you.
Yeah, that's also true. At any point, right? There's no security team. I'm sorry. No, we're in the middle of this thing.
You can go wash your hands.
You are, please. And actually, it's encouraged.
You can go wash
quite frankly. Absolutely encouraged.
I would say before you eat and after you eat, please wash your hands.
Please, Sid, now that we've released those restrictions.
Before you arrive, please wash your hands. We don't need dirty people at Smokey Bones.
Yeah, which will be great.
So keep that out. Boy, I just had one and it just went right in my head and out of my head, Joe. So it's going to come back to me in a second.
Okay. Hopefully this happens during the fantasy.
We saw, right?
Who was I going to pick again?
Yeah, right.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I didn't mean to do that.
Let's put this on the table. Whoever takes Travis Hunter has to buy the draft, at least like the nachos.
Okay. All right.
Can that make, like, you have to, everyone walks in the door, you're telling whoever takes Travis Hunter today, understand you're doing so and you're buying nachos for the whole group. Because that will hopefully make people not overdraft him. Right. We're going to make him draft where he's
It's a brilliant idea.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll make that announcement.
So I'm looking forward to Lerch giving us the nachos. Third overall?
Right around the third round.
Third overall.
All right. Let's talk about the 2 positions that I think are always interesting in fantasy drafts every year, and certainly interesting again this year, Joe. And that's the quarterback position and the tight end position.
Yep.
You can get advantages by getting the right players in there. But again, there's always that yin and that yang. Can I get something late that's just nearly as good? Maybe that advantage isn't as great an advantage as it is some years. So let's discuss both positions, and are there true advantages in getting a top-level quarterback, and how many of them are there, and a top-level tight end, and how many of them are there?
Yeah, I think from a quarterback perspective, it's the top four: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts. If you don't have one of those four, I will be one of the last to draft a quarterbacks. That means Brock Purdy or Bo Nix or Dak Prescott, even though Prescott moves up with this Micah Parsons trade to my beloved Packers. Any one of those quarterbacks after that fourth range, and you can even add Joe Burrow if you really want as quarterback 5. In that 5 tier of quarterbacks, if you're not drafting one of those, I'm just waiting till the end. And that could mean Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love.
Now,
I like your guy, Justin Fields, this year. I will partner him with a Caleb Williams or somebody else that maybe I could start more consistently, but like that we can wait to quarterback 18 and have, let's just say, an 85% result to what quarterback 6 might be in Bo Nix or Baker Mayfield. That's really intriguing to me from a roster build. I will draft. I mean, we are at the same spot.
Yeah,
I will draft one of those top 4 quarterbacks.
See, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Let's get into this because I've done a lot of fantasy drafts, probably nowhere near as many as you.
RotoWire.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, that's the number one place to do it, and so quick to be able to do it on the app
or the software.
As opposed to sitting through an actual Yahoo draft, and I'm sitting there at 10. All right, anytime.
Sleeper, same thing.
Yeah, 100%. So it's great just to use again the RotoWire app, which, by the way, is absolutely free, baby. RotoWire.com and the RotoWire app, wherever you get your apps. And I have to tell you that I've done a lot of mock drafts, but also legitimate drafts. And I've just sort of found myself, no matter where I've been picking, whether it's 1, 2, 4, 10, 12, picking quarterbacks late. And I do that same thing that you said. I pair one. I'll get a Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, or if it's some, again, a JJ McCarthy and a this and some sort of combinations. But I counter that with the Matthew Berrys of the world, who just reiterated exactly what you said. And he says this, I'm going to paraphrase. If I could get one of those top 4 quarterbacks, he labels them in a tier, and I could get them somewhere within the first 4 rounds, I'm grabbing that guy, and I know my quarterback's unlocked, because he believes, Matthew Berry argued, that the tier of difference between that QB 5 to like 18, he doesn't see big differential in.
Right.
So in theory, you're wasting a pick just picking the 12th one versus the 18th one and that sort of thing. Do you sort of champion that?
No, I think that's the exact right. So it's a little, I mean, I love Matthew Berry. I would say every single person in the fantasy community is saying that.
Okay.
Everyone.
All right.
And I get a little bit concerned when the hive mind becomes a bit too strong. Okay. But I don't like math wise, and I'm not very good at math, but math wise, I don't see how that logic can be argued against. I
like that it can be wrong.
Right. Like, again, to say quarterback 6, because people like Joe Burrow, and I'm not going to argue against that. So it's 5 tiers.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence.
Sure.
I can like all these guys, but if we think that they're going to be 85% production of like Cam Ward, who's probably going to go undrafted tonight at quarterback 22, I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that concept as to waiting at quarterback. One thing that I think all 3 of us are going to have to deal with, and this is going out to everyone out there in the fantasy community that's picking on either one of the ends, you have to go ahead and grapple with the idea that, do you want to take one of these quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, earlier than it might look like you're supposed to? Because it's possible and really likely, especially in your friends and family leagues that we're doing tonight, that they won't come back to you. Like, we're going to be all picking at the beginning of the 3rd round. The idea that there won't be a quarterback that I want in this tier that comes back in the 4th round is very real possibility with how interesting things happen in this league. And you have to understand that, okay, if this occurs, what is the pivot? So you need to have that answer, really. Like, I think, truthfully, what are you going to do at quarterback? What do you want to do? Has to be something you answer pre-draft. And I typically choose not to. I don't ever want to do that going into drafts, but I think sometimes that's the most important thing.
All right, let's end here. I think a good place to do is for each of us to give advice, not just to our league tonight, but anyone else who's getting their drafted. And my advice would be just what you just said, Joe, for the people as we go around the horn here doing advice, that if you're picking, let's just say 6 overall, there's a player you love at 10th. You're like, but I just can't do it. I have the 6th overall pick. Well, the last time I checked, when you swing back around, the person at 10th is very unlikely going to be back to you. So it's a fantasy draft. Be fun. Have it. Now, I'm not saying the number 1 overall pick tonight should take Tim Tebow, but if you want to have a little bit of fun and 2 players are separated by 5 to 10 spots, but you love that player, then take that player. Fantasy football is fun. You're supposed to be rooting for players that you like or whatever the reason is. So that's my advice to the people tonight, and really the people tonight, really just go wild. Take anyone you like.
That's how John Robinson goes 11 last year.
I guess that's a good point. But to all you out there, I would just say fantasy football is supposed to be fun. Don't be afraid of, again, a 6 to 10 difference, or if it's a marginal difference, take the player you want. It's fantasy football. But Joe, let's go to you. Actually, let's go to Manchild, because your insights and advice is going to be number one. So let's sort of build up to that. So Lerch is the next rung on this ladder. What would be your advice, Lerch, to fantasy footballers that are going to be joining us tonight? And there's obviously a bunch of fantasy leagues that are going to keep happening with the season set to start in 6 days.
Well, you know my motto, Boy Green.
Okay.
Not only do I like good players, but I like good citizens. I like good people.
Oh, I thought he was going to do a kicker.
So when I
take here.
pick my
Thought a kicker take
team,
was coming.
okay, I'm picking no unscrupulous characters, okay? I'm not picking people who care more about the money than the game, all
Are you
right?
going to stick by
I'm
this?
picking guys who are good people and good players.
Let me
That's
just say
my
this,
motto.
okay? So Lerch, we did one of these before.
I know
Lerch,
my team will have a very high moral standard.
I'm sure they will. So Lerch, a couple of years ago, we did the same thing where I said,
Oh,
hey, you know, kind of
please.
give a good hard,
See,
fast
he has to
roll.
go back a few years just to come
Of
up
course
with
it
one.
is.
One guy
But I said,
in the history of my draft.
what's a hard, fast rule you want to give? And he went, hey, man, I'm not taking Kadarius Toney no matter what, under any circumstance. And
He was with the Chiefs at this time.
and we're going through the draft, And Lerch's like, well, the value, Mr.
It's like
Travis.
the 13th round or something. I was like, I need another
It
receiver.
keeps getting later as he
could
tells
be
his
decent.
story. Kadarius
Right,
Toney.
it was the 15th round. You're
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, it definitely is. And he takes Kadarius Toney, and Kadarius Toney has this ugly fumble and horrific game week one.
he's not
And
I
he-
dropped him right after
And he
that.
immediately cuts him,
I
and
did.
that's what he gets for going against his own
Correct.
made-up
And I'll
rule.
never break that code again, which is why it's my
I'm
greatest piece of
Okay,
advice.
well.
Take good people and good players. You'll be much happier for it.
I think that
Unless you're
means
Boy Green, who has no morals.
half the
So
league
not
is
at all.
off of your draft board if that's the case, and that's unfortunately where I
That's
lie
true,
with this.
unfortunately.
I had your same sort of mindset,
Uh-huh.
and it's just gotten darker. It feels
Okay.
like as we
It's
go on.
the league is just too dark. You can't really-
Yeah, so I
You're
think
saying I'd have to rule out half the league.
correct. And there might be things that you're unaware of at mid-season. Like, oh,
Well, if I'm not aware of it, I can't count it again.
Oh,
So
that's
sorry.
now
I'm
willful
aware.
blindness. Oh, wait, a record?
Changing the
What?
rules.
What I know
Interesting.
tomorrow, I don't know today. I mean, that's just part of life.
Hey, by the way, I see we're getting a comment in here. My father's chiming in. He said, Manchild, you just have a little something on the front of your hat there.
Oh,
You have
yeah,
some
yeah.
crap on your
We
hat.
called the team that's going to win the NFC East. Yes.
Oh, wow.
New York
Okay.
football
2035.
Giants.
Okay.
Better than that train wreck in Dallas. Yeah. How you
Ooh.
feeling there, Pops? How you feeling? Just lost your best defensive player. Hey, and we're very
I'm
happy
okay with that. I'm
as
fine with
NY
that.
fans
That's your
to
package.
not be facing this guy for twice this year, right? I don't even know if we play the Green Bay
We
Packers.
do play you guys. I think
We do?
Yes,
All right.
and he'll dominate.
All right. We'll see you one time,
All
Mike.
right. Well, real quick, as Badshaw noticed, the ice, the bling. You know, when you're champ, you got all kinds of big salaries. Yeah, here it is. Here's the bling. I don't know if I'm going to get a
Hey,
good
hold
look
on.
at-
I'll be right back.
Yeah, okay, here it is. Yeah, let's go. Do you see this? Look at this, baby. Oh, yeah. There's a good look at my beard for no reason, and also that. Look at that, baby. Boom! Some hard ice. That's what happens. That's what happens when you're the champ. You get all kinds of salary increases, raises, things of that nature. Very nice. Joe, are you a bling guy?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
My name is just
Here you go,
Joe.
Pops.
That's a good.
Just for you, Pop.
Oh.
Woo!
Good.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey,
There
hey,
he is.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, he doesn't wear this jersey anymore.
Once you get this up to
Oh.
50% rack coming in here at ShopRite?
Blasphemy, a Giants cap with this jersey. Ugh, blasphemy.
Yeah, that is a bizarar look. So we'll
You know,
definitely.
I thought I was going to have to eat serious crow tonight wearing a Dallas Cowboy jersey because I
How
lost a
lucky
bet.
for him.
I know, right?
How
Just
lucky
so
am I
cool,
that I get
man.
to wear this Dallas Cowboys jersey?
Oh, my
No longer
God.
on the squad. It's so
Okay.
sad. So sad.
Because I was so looking forward to everyone making fun of Lerch, and he trumps in here, boo, Cowboys, what a loser. And then now, man, so Micah Parsons get traded. Did you set that up, Lerch, that Micah was going to get traded right before our draft? I'm pretty sure you picked this date tonight, because if this draft was a week ago, this would have been a very different feeling here at the draft.
You know what's even funnier is that after this all happened, I think these were post comments. If I'm wrong about this, you guys will correct
Okay.
me, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
I think Jerry Jones has spoken since.
Oh,
Has he?
You got to
About
watch
the
it. You
draft.
got to watch.
Oh,
the
yeah, he had
interview.
the Micah
About
thing.
the
Yeah, 100%.
And I
You
think
got to
the
watch the
Oh,
interview.
that's
I do.
that's
Okay.
interesting.
Well, that's
Don't
always-
let your dad
always
watch
fun.
it because
Yeah.
that might put him in a real
that's
tailspin.
a
but
good
yeah.
point.
But I remember Jones said something along the lines of, Micah and we get along great. Micah. I love Micah. love the
I
way
think he
says
kept
his name.
actually calling
He called
him
him- he
Michael.
called him Michael 7
Michael.
He called him
Okay.
Michael 7 times.
It's hard to remember his name. Who is he again?
Well,
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Just the best pass rush you've had in 15 years.
You like the guy, but you don't sign the guy. And then you trade him for a guy who's going to be a cut, as Joe said, in a year because of salary issues. Okay, he's a good player. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. I mean, it's not a joke guy.
Yeah.
And 2 number ones. I just think I can't believe that's all they got for Micah, to
Yeah,
be honest.
230
That's just an honest. I'm not even a
232nd
Giants
overall
fan, assessment. It's just an honest football
My
assessment.
pop thinks the trade was awesome, and he couldn't be happier.
Okay,
So,
well, good for him.
Which, by the way, I will credit him because the thought that Micah was actually going to get traded seemed pretty bizarre.
I didn't think it was
this
gonna
entire time,
happen.
and even right now, it seems
Right.
bizarre. But I will tell you that my pop has been saying it pretty consistently the last month. Hey, if you give me 2 first-rounders from any team in the league,
Wow.
see ya. Goodbye. So he's been saying this before just now, so this isn't some
It'll
copium
be
happening
pick
here.
32
Hey,
both times.
it could be.
That's
Could be.
Super Bowl.
That's the
winner.
thing is it's 2 first-rounders, and that's always valuable.
Yeah,
in the
sure.
NFL. But it likely will be
Late.
low,
Yeah.
25 or after. Okay? I
Probably.
think we're pretty safe in
Best
saying
case
that.
scenario is late teens, and even then, I don't really
Right.
believe that's going to happen.
So it's not a top 10 pick. It's not a top 5 pick, and I don't know.
More Mazzie Smiths from the Cowboys. It's perfect.
Michigan product.
Let's go. I mean, that's what they're really great at drafting in the back end of the first round. Is Mazzie Smith.
In all honesty, of all the guys that
Yeah.
the Cowboys signed up, the big 3, can
Yeah.
we say they're the big 3?
Yeah.
I guess they have the big 3.
Oh, that's
All
for
right.
sure. Yeah, great place.
CD Lamb,
Yep.
Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons.
Who coulda,
If
shoulda,
I
woulda.
could only sign one of them, I'd sign Parsons. I think
Probably.
he's the best
But-
overall. And I understand the
but
quarterback
they're all really good.
thing. They're all
Yeah.
really good. They are. But if I had to only sign one, I could only sign one to keep on my team going forward. I would have chose him over the other 2 guys.
In fairness, obviously, with how these contracts are laid out, they couldn't just go in that order. All the contracts
course.
didn't line
I
up
understand.
appropriately.
Again, this is
So
just
that-
representative
but yes.
of how I, as a Giants fan of all things, feel about playing against Micah Parsons. I just think he's a fantastic player.
Yes.
And the Giants should have drafted him instead of Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney, which, by the way, and it's all again, people forget it's all interconnected, right? So the Giants trade back, Cowboys get the pick, and the pick that was also moved around got Justin Fields, who went to the Bears, which is sort of funny how all that went out. That the Bears moved up for him. Giants got back for Kadarius Toney. It's all kinds of crazy. So we'll have to save more of your guys' Micah Parsons talk for later. Boys, any final thoughts here? Again, live from Smokey Bones, Liverpool. Fans are allowed to come join us.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's open. A few people have reached out and asked if we're
Yeah.
allowed to bring
Come
plus
watch the
ones
draft.
or other
You can
people.
hang out.
100%.
The bar's
Fun.
within arm's length. We're kind of side straddling the bar here. We have our own little space
Got the
here.
college football games
But,
on and
yes,
the TVs.
yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's gonna be cool. Anytime you can go to a live fantasy draft, even if you aren't participating in it, it's just a fun thing.
No doubt.
That's why we do this. That's why I fly here from Wisconsin
Right,
to be.
unbelievable.
This is one of the few live drafts I get to do all year. It's a fun experience, and make sure to come on down, join some celebrities
That's
and me,
right. Yeah.
but also just
Yeah.
go ahead and have a good time with everyone else here and get to be nerds about football.
By the
Yeah.
way, Boy Green, Bartle missed his flight this morning, and he
I-
still figured out another way to get here.
I only heard the beginning of that story.
Terrible.
He's never missed a flight.
This is
He
the
missed
first
one
time.
this morning.
Oh,
Still
my
made
God.
it.
Well, thank God he's here because that would have been, hey, I can't really make the draft.
Mama.
What is it, pal?
Mama.
I missed my flight. Well, that's a pretty good
Yeah.
reason. That
Crazy
comes up
stuff
there.
happens on draft day.
But and more crazy stuff to happen tonight, I'm sure. We will not be live streaming. I know a few people asked about that, so we're going to keep the sanctity of the Fantasy Football League. If you attend, you can enjoy any of whatever that includes while you're here, and the food and the great service, of course. But we will not be live streaming for those who asked. But we'll give you guys all the results and be talking about it, of course, right here at MC Show Digital. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe.
Boy Green, you're on the clock.
I've been on the clock
I know you have.
for quite a while.
Just
and,
let's get off the clock.
we'll see
It's
what
time
happens.
to get off the clock.
We'll see what
Pass
happens.
it on to number 2, our
Okay.
defending champion, who I apparently slighted by not mentioning his
Apparently,
name.
come on, you clearly slided him, man. Apparently.
I didn't mean to.
Like, this is one of those
Didn't mean to.
qualified apologies. Yeah, apparently, for those who I may have
Right,
offended, this. Come on, Lerch.
I was just mentioning certain names.
You literally skipped over it. You went one, skip, one.
Sure, it was
It felt
You
very
know what?
intentional.
It actually was intentional.
Oh, here we
Jack.
go.
It was
There we go.
totally intentional. I have malice in my heart for you, my friend.
I
I
knew it.
hope you go down in flames. Okay. No,
Okay.
none of that's true.
Okay.
None
Well,
of that's
actually, we're just going to clip that part where you just
Yeah,
said
exactly.
that
Yeah,
and
there
get it out on the internet because the
true.
internet
Take it out of
never
context.
lies.
That's just what I.
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
The internet does that kind of stuff all the time.
100%. Well, again, Joe, before we go, please, you're wearing the polo. Give some RotoWire plugs.
I mean, this is going to be the biggest draft weekend of the year. Go ahead and download the RotoWire Fantasy Football app anywhere in the App Store. That is free to go ahead and do the mock drafts that we talked a little bit earlier. It's free to go ahead and get. I just keep talking about reps. Like, that's the way to feel comfortable with any strategy you're doing. Get some reps with the mock draft tool itself. I'm going to be using the Draft Assistant tool, which is part of the RotoWire subscription, but it'll actually tell you, like, hey, here's a value right now based off of current recent events that gets updated weekly. Here's go ahead and we should be targeting, looking at. So if you are ill prepared, if you are a spouse joining somebody in the league because you have to, being forced to, the RotoWire Draft Assistant tool, it's meant for you. That's exactly what it's meant for. Getting the RotoWire subscription as well. You get to see my content. I'm doing the waiver wire article. That is out now. Hopefully none of these guys have read it so that I can get my guys a little bit later. But I don't think there'll be waiver wire guys come next week. So make sure you check that out in your leagues if you already drafted.
All right. And by the way, 2 guys in this draft, Joe Bartel hates, I love. I don't think we're going to have any conflicts when it comes to those guys.
Terrific.
I think we're going to be in good shape.
That's good to hear.
All right. Thanks, folks, for watching. We do appreciate it. Thanks again to the folks here at Smokey Bones. And if you do want to come out and watch the draft, we'll be getting started around 6 o'clock tonight. You can come anywhere along the way. We'll probably finish up around 9-ish and come out for the food, obviously, as well. And you certainly can stop by and say hello. Although when Boy Green's in his cone of silence, you might not want to approach him. Just know that. All right. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you.